Peace be upon you, Dini here. Today I want to give you four lessons learned when it comes to training for a half marathon or a marathon. Without further ado, let's get into it. Lesson number one, realize that your training will take much more of your time than you think. I learned this lesson as I did the half marathon last year, and especially as as I was training for the marathon this year. Now, I mentioned the Nike Run Club app before. I use it. I used it last year when I was training for the half marathon. I'm still using it now for my marathon training. And there's a bunch of runs. There's 5 runs per week. You divide it. Today's 5 days of running, and the runs vary. You have the recovery runs, which vary from 25, 30, 40, 45 minutes of running. You have the speed runs, which focus on developing speed and developing leg strength. Those take about 30, 35 minutes of running. And you have the long runs, the endurance runs. That can take, depends on how you run, an hour to 2 hours, maybe 3 hours of running. And so it takes a lot of your time. And for me, I felt it, especially now that I'm training. I was training for the marathon. I really felt it. I really felt it. I'd have to make some sacrifices. I'd have to sleep early to get up early in order to train, and make it an important part of my training, because a marathon is not a joke of a distance. And so if you have signed up recently for a half marathon or a marathon, or if you're thinking about signing up, I encourage you to do so, but realize that training for it will take much more of your time than you think. It'll take much more of your time than you think. Tip number two, be hydrated. Remain hydrated. Hydration is so important in athletics and sports, but at the same time, I feel like it's one of the most underrated things that we athletes have in mind, and even in the general population. If you play sports, any kind, whether it's an actual sport or going to the gym or cycling or running or martial arts, whatever the case may be, you should be drinking between 2 to 3 liters of water a day. That's good for most people. 2 to 3 liters of water a day. And it's important because if you don't stay hydrated, let me tell you this. If you don't stay hydrated, you'll feel it as you're running. Last year in my half marathon, things were going well. And I was approaching the end of the race. When I got to the 20K mark, my calf started cramping like hell. It was bad. Now, I still managed to finish the race, but I had never experienced that. And I reflected later on why. It was two things. Um, One I'll talk about later, but the second thing was hydration. I realized that in the weeks leading up to the race, I hadn't drank properly. In the morning before the race, in the morning, yeah, before the race, the morning of the race, I didn't drink much. During the race, I didn't drink much, even with the electrolytes, and so it caused cramping in my calves. And it's a lesson learned, right? It's a lesson learned. Stay hydrated. Again, don't be like me. Don't wait until race day to drink the appropriate amount of water. That won't make up for the weeks missed. Start drinking properly in the weeks before the race, on race day, and after race day. After race day, make this a habit, a life habit. Again, 2 to 3 liters of water a day is good for most people. Here I have my big 3.8 liter water bottle. Just do it, Nike, and it keeps me accountable. It keeps me really accountable. It feels like a dumbbell when it's full. It's not full right now, but it keeps me accountable. Perhaps you should consider buying yourself a water bottle of the same size, or maybe even it's a smaller one, something that will get you to drink water. Tip number three, be a good self coach. Be good at encouraging yourself. Be good at giving yourself grace. Be good at self coaching yourself. Self coaching yourself. So that doesn't make sense. Be good at coaching yourself. The Nike Run Club app is the one that taught me that. I do guided runs, which means that when I run, there's someone in my ear speaking. And usually in the Nike Run Club app, there'll be many coaches, but most of the time it's Coach Bennett. And I love Coach Bennett, and I learned a lot from Coach Bennett as I had him in my ear as I'm running, as I'm training. And the most important thing that he taught me that I learned from him was the importance of being a good self coach. Consider this: if you're a coach of a sports team, or if you're a teacher at your martial arts dojo, or perhaps you're a coach of or a leader of a run club, and you see someone struggling, would you go up to them and say, "Ha, you can't do it. I knew you wouldn't do it. I knew you wouldn't be able to finish this run." Or perhaps maybe, "Ha, you suck. Ah, you're fat." No, you probably wouldn't say that. But yes, so often we say that to ourselves. And here comes the importance of self coaching, because let me tell you this, I guarantee you this. If you do not develop the skill of self coaching, there's no way you will finish the half marathon or the marathon. Why? Because you won't be prepared for it mentally. The long distances, such as those ones, are as much mental as they're physical. If you go there believing it's just physical, you're done for. It's as much mental as it is physical. And one of the most important parts of the mental is being able to self-coach yourself, to give yourself grace when when you're running slower, perhaps slower than usual, or when you're having a tough run in the bad times, but as well as in the good times. Yes, I'm killing it. Keep going, keep going. You know, or I'm running great. I'm feeling good. Yes, I see the progress. Encouraging yourself. So how do you develop your self coaching skills? Number one, be a good encourager to yourself and to others. Encouraging to yourself. Give yourself grace. So when things go wrong, perhaps you're not having the run that you thought in mind that you would. Give yourself grace. You know what? I know this is a bad run, but at least I'm showing up and putting in the work. I know this will pay off. If you're having a great run, encourage yourself as well for that. No, I'm just looking at my mic. Encourage yourself as well for great runs. Yes, I'm killing it. That's one of the best ways you can become a better self coach. Another way you can become a better self coach is by celebrating small wins. Maybe you've beat a personal record, like I did in my training last week. The My last run before I busted my knee. I in my training, I ran a 21 kilometer. I ran a half marathon in my training, and when I finished the race, when I finished the half marathon in my training on Saturday, I looked at the stats and I saw that I beat my personal record, in terms of time. Ran for a 21.1 kilometer run. My PR was last year on the half marathon race. I ran it in 2 hours and 15 minutes and 5 seconds. In my training on Saturday morning, I did it in 2 hours and 10 minutes and 7 seconds. I celebrated myself. I celebrated. For me, it was a big win. But I celebrated. How I bought two big bottles of Gatorade for myself. I love Gatorade, and so I celebrated it. Celebrate your small wins, small, big, medium wins. Celebrate your wins. Perhaps you buy yourself a cookie for having beaten a PR or for having finished a hard race, but celebrate yourself. Right? This will help you become better at self coaching. I promise you. Fourth tip is this: realize that on race day you'll run much faster than in your training. And this is good or bad, but this is a result of the the impact of group, the impact of the group. You see people run, so you run, you try to catch up to people. As opposed to your training, you're probably most of the time training by yourself. At least it was the case in my situation. Last year, I'll give you an example. Last year, when I was training for the half marathon. I would go 4 or 5 kilometers before having to stop for a break, for a breather. Last year, during the half marathon race, I ran 11 straight kilometers without stopping. Why? I had never done that in my training. Yet on race day, uh, I went that far. Why? It was the effect of the group. You run faster, and that can be a good or bad thing. In my situation, it was a good thing, but it bit me in the butt later on because, and I mentioned that I had uh, calves cramps because I wasn't hydrated, but also because I wasn't used to running as fast, as powerfully as I did that day. So know that for most people, they'll probably run faster on a race day than in training. Manage your running, manage your running, manage your running. One way of doing so, again, Nike Run Club app, Strava app, those two apps are excellent. Use them. Use them even on the race. Have them in your phone or in your watch. Check your pace regularly to see if you're going faster or slower, whatever the case may be. But control your pace. Be in control. So to recap, 4 tips, 4 lessons learned when it comes to training for a half marathon or a marathon. Tip number 1: realize that your training will take much more of your time than you think. Number 2: be hydrated at all times before the race, during the race, and after the race. Tip number 3: be a good self coach. Be a good coach to yourself. It's crucial. And last but not least, tip number 4: realize that during the race, on a race day, you'll probably run much faster than you did in your training. So I hope that helped. I hope these things were of value to you. Share this video with a friend or a family member or anyone you know that's preparing for a half marathon race or a marathon race or any kind of race, because I'm certain that these tips will be of value to them or to you if you're training for one of those races as well. And subscribe to my channel. There'll be many more videos of running and just athletics in general. And I'll see you in the next video. God bless. Take care.